Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh yeah. Baby. Smooth as a baby's bottom. That's how I like it. Looking fresh. About to begin the day. Got absolutely nothing to say this morning. Maybe I can revel in that. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I can expect goodness to flow in great abundant pools around my ankles, so that I merely have to, scoop beneath me, pick up a little puddle of bright green and red juice full of speckled gems that turn to candy in my mouth, but cause no tooth decay. Would be ideal. To commit sin without its effects. Right? It's kind of what we want, what I want. Gotta taste that fruity, that tutti fruity, and good and evil. But alas, we are incarnate beings, vulnerable to slings and arrows, bazooka blasts of outrageous fortune. I'm remembering right now an argument I got into with a college friend about genies. And if you found a genie in a bottle and you asked the genie to grant you the power of flight, could he do it without also giving you some means by which to accomplish that flight, like either wings or a jetpack or fill in the blank? And I was firmly on the side that he would, that there would have to be some kind of means of propulsion. You couldn't just give flight without also giving the means of that flight. And my friend was solidly on the other side. He said that a genie can do whatever a genie pleases. And so if a genie wants to give you the power of flight, well, he can do it. And I said, no. You're presupposing something about the nature of the universe there. I'm talking about a real genie, understand? Not some make-believe genie in some make-believe world where all things can happen like so many pixels on a screen. I know that they can just pop up into the air in Dragon Ball Z, but in our world down here, there are certain laws that have to be abided by. There is the law, there is the logos, the principle of non-contradiction. And we went back and forth like that for a while, and grew increasingly intractable. And I guess the argument stands. And that argument is the argument of religion at its core. The ability of genies or God to act in whatever way they might want, but does that include in ways that self-contradict? And probably not, from my view. So what does that mean for me? For my attempts at self-realization? Hitler believed that if they recovered the bloodline, they could fly. That's like fucking retarded. But the Nazi movement was based on that. Was based on this idea that if you could just purify the blood, you'd get back telepathy and flight and other superpowers. I don't know. What's it going to be like in heaven? have our glorified bodies, become angelic, We won't be able to have sex anymore. That's kind of a downer, I guess. The question came up in a Bible study I was going to with all these middle-aged men with my father. And it's the passage in the gospel where the Sadducees are quizzing Jesus because they don't believe in the resurrection. And so they're talking about this man and his wife, and the man dies, and his brother takes the helm, and brother after brother, up to 7, the perfect number of God, the fullness of God. Whose wife is she? And Jesus says that you will neither be given in marriage or whatever, because all your delight will be in God. So we'll have ecstasy in God. But that sounds like a little gay or something. But I guess it's not. I guess it's divine. I don't want to blaspheme. But it begs the question, where we find ecstasy, the ecstatic. What's the relationship between the ecstatic and eudaimonia, with well-being, goodness, uprightness as such? Because one would like to live in ecstasy, I suppose. Would like to just have a life filled with pleasurable, delectable experiences. And yet, I was writing a poem. I don't know if it's very good, but it goes, love is stupid flowers in the retarded rain. Indifference is a state-of-the-art surveillance system in every sewer drain. Confusion between the two is a misspelled word, unpronounceable. That's it. I forgot the rest. Unpronounceable, unheard. That was it. Can't be taught. Maybe not even learned. Neither bought nor sold. Just a thing to have and to behold. There you go. That's a poem. I wonder if I'm going to pursue more pantomime. I've already shared about how I studied acting for a little bit. Pantomime is very different from acting, in that acting seeks to create something believable. Pantomime, miming is sort of disdained by the hoi polloi, by the people who know nothing about it. But mimery is a wonderful art. It's a very engaging and fun art to try to practice. I'm speaking as if from a point of authority, when in point of fact I have virtually no experience in pantomime, other than the video I just posted. I would like, however, to get better at it. It seems fun and worthwhile. And I don't know, you kind of feel good afterwards. It limbers you up. What more to say? Today is Saturday. I'm not going to be able to reflect. I hope my mind can handle it. I hope my poor old rinky-dink mind mind doesn't get clogged up and constipated, full of hatred and indifference, despair. Hope I can soldier on, face my experiences with a smile. You know, I was talking to Paul Talk about expectation, because he had tried to make this distinction that the power of expectation only works in the margins, and I was agreeing, but saying yes. But it's unclear what the margins are, first of all, and second of all, the margins exist at many different levels of scale, from one's whole life down to the descendant, down to the discreetest movement of the finger. And how to get that in symphony. So I'm still kind of jazzing on that point. I'm gonna experiment a little bit. I've been trying to introduce paradoxical intentions into my life. I was encouraged by hearing Jay Haley say that it does not matter whether or not you are aware of the paradoxical intention or not. You can do it in full awareness. That still produces a positive effect many times. So, when I feel like on the verge of getting into an argument with my wife, I'll just tell her that we better start an argument right now. You know, like, how can we make this? What can we turn into an argument? Let's do it. Let's fight. You know, a little bit of reverse psychology on my side. Such things are interesting. It becomes a little banal after a while. You know, after a while, you keep on doing it. It's a little annoying, but it works. It's strange. It actually does seem to have a positive effect. I mean, a third point about this issue of expectation is that yes, it works in the margins, but sometimes those margins will shift through the persistence of expectation itself. So you might have to go a few rounds, you know. Again, the example of the sports match, the race, well, the rugby match. Someone thinks they're going to win and they haven't trained. Well, maybe they won't, but they'll perform better than they would have otherwise. And if they do that enough times, eventually they may win. And even if they don't win, it might be a more enjoyable experience to expect to win, even if you won't. So it's funny, you know, how in line with the absolute truth do we expect ourselves to be? What kind of standard does there have to be? You know, Jordan Peterson says, speak the truth, or at least don't speak any lies. It's probably good, but at the same time, a certain kind of confidence requires a little bit of I don't know, it's not falsehood exactly, it's just a little bit of brazenness, a little bit of foolhardiness, in the right amount. I don't know. It makes you a little stupid. I don't know. It's a bit like caffeine or something. You take caffeine, and you have all this energy, but where did the energy come from? You know, caffeine doesn't actually produce energy. It acts on your adenosine receptors. It blocks them so that the thing that makes you tired can't get to your brain. You develop this tolerance after a while, and it can be rather problematic. Caffeine can have a lot of negative side effects. People seem to enjoy using it. Our thoughts as well can act as kind of drugs on us. I don't know. Should we just be total purists? Or a place for experimentation? Yeah, that's a wrap.